Thanks for joining us this Saturday evening. I'm Scott Light. We have kept you updated with mobile alerts on social media about a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy who was shot on duty. We now know it happened near Harrisburg Pike and Eakin Road in Franklin Township. We have team coverage for you on this developing story. Shelby Croft is live at the hospital with the latest on how that deputy is doing right now. But let's begin with Cierra Johnson with more on what led to his injuries. Cierra.
Good evening, Scott. The witnesses we spoke with say the scene that played out here was like something out of a movie, and hours later, still a very large police presence as those investigators worked to comb and collect evidence in a traffic stop that turned fatal. What began as a routine traffic stop turned deadly on the city's west side. Investigators say around 6:30 Saturday night, a deputy attempted to pull over the driver of a black pickup truck near the intersection of Harrisburg Pike and Climb Road. A chase begins soon after the driver refuses to stop. For nearly 6 minutes, the deputy chased the driver until the truck crashed into a pole near the Shell gas station at Hopkins and Harrisburg Pike. It was there investigators say gunfire was exchanged. The deputy was shot, as was the driver of the black pickup truck. The driver of that truck was pronounced dead on scene. The deputy was taken to Grant Medical Center. A witness says the ordeal played out quickly behind him as he was stopped at a red light.
Back and forth, at least probably at least 20.
This witness says he ducked while he heard what sounded like 20 to 30 gunshots. He then waited with the deputy until help arrived.
He said he was shot, and we was checking to see a shot at the lower part of his vest, and it really didn't look like it was through or anything, but we just tried to calm him down, and he just so senseless.
Just off of Harrisburg Pike, when the suspects allegedly...
Right now, investigators are not releasing any information about the suspect, but more than 3 hours after the scene played out, you can still see a very large presence. We have the mobile command unit as well as the Bureau of Criminal Investigation, so it could be hours before this intersection reopens. We'll continue to give you the latest both on air and online. We're live in Franklin Township. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
It was 1 year ago today. The police chief of a small Licking County village responded to his final call. Police Chief Stephen Eric DeSario was ambushed while trying to capture a gunman who also shot and killed 2 employees at a nursing facility. Tonight, the village of Kirkersville is honoring Chief DeSario. Kirkersville's population is a little bit more than 500. They lost a leader and a protector a year ago. Right now, people are remembering just how Chief DeSario made an impact on that town. And 10 TV's Cierra Johnson is outside the police station there with an emotional dedication ceremony. Cierra?
Yes, Scott, it was 1 year ago that this town was rocked by the murder of 3 members of this community. And tonight, members of this community have gathered to remember them. Now, we want to keep a respectful distance because this event is getting underway. You can see those blue ribbons and the people gathered in front of the police station. Those blue ribbons, of course, honoring Police Chief Stephen DeSario, who had been on the job less than a month when he was murdered. There are also friends and family members of the 2 other victims, Cindy Krantz and Marlena Medrano, both employees at Pine Creek Care Center. It was on this day 1 year ago when Thomas Hartless killed Chief DeSario in an ambush shooting and later 2 women at a nearby care center. Now, as I mentioned, this ceremony is getting underway. You can see that bench there with the thin blue line flag draped over it. That bench is being dedicated to Chief DeSario, and right now city leaders and religious leaders are giving community members a chance to speak and share their memories of the individuals lost in this tragedy. Again, this just getting underway right now. They're actually unveiling that bench. You can see them removing the thin blue line flag from that granite bench as we speak. Beautiful, beautiful bench. It says in loving memory of Kirkersville Police Chief DeSario, killed on duty May 12th to 2017. Very, very beautiful bench here, and you can see some people just taking a moment to look at this bench. And right now, I think we're going to have some more words of worship, so we're going to want to give them their space. We'll bring you everything that has happened here again tonight at 11, but this service for the members of this community killed in the tragedy right now getting underway. We're live in Kirkersville. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News. Shelby, just 3 weeks ago, I was on hand as town leaders unveiled a bench dedicated to fallen Kirkersville Police Chief Stephen DeSario. And tonight, that small town once again dealing with tragedy after another Kirkersville Police Chief, James Hughes, has died.
He's a great guy. He's a great chief. It's just one of those terrible things.
Kirkersville Mayor Terry Ashcraft still in shock after receiving news that the village's police chief, James Hughes, was found dead Friday in his Reynoldsburg home.
He was here on Thursday evening, talked to me for 10-15 minutes and had got some paperwork done, and he was fine then, you know, he's himself.
The cause of death is unknown. Mayor Ashcraft says an autopsy will be performed early next week. Funeral plans have not yet been made.
You know, he was a well-liked guy. And, you know, 3 weeks ago today, we was down there, the DeSario thing, and he was there then that day, you know.
That event, a bench dedication to honor another fallen Kirkersville Police Chief, Stephen DeSario, who was killed when he was ambushed by gunfire while on the job in May of 2017.
Chief Hughes was he was easy to get to know guy, you know. He was basically the same way. I think those two went to the academy together, and they had been friends.
A little more than a year after Kirkersville lost Chief DeSario, this small town once again dealing with the death of one of their own.
I don't know, we'll just move on, and you never forget. It's been a bad year, it really has.
Kirkersville Mayor Terry Ashcraft says Chief Hughes leaves behind a wife and 3 children. The mayor also says Kirkersville does plan to honor the life of their police chief. He is making those plans with members of council. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
New tonight, homeowners are being forced to foot the bill for sidewalks in front of their homes, and it's in the thousands of dollars. 10 TV's Cierra Johnson explains why the city of Bellefontaine says residents have to pay up.
Devin Palmer and her family moved to this Bellefontaine subdivision about 5 years ago. She says she loves her neighbors, her quiet street, and its rural setting.
So it seemed like the perfect house and perfect neighborhood for us.
But what she doesn't love is a bill she recently received from the city of Bellefontaine.
My initial reaction is $1,300. We're a working family. I have 4 kids.
The Palmer family says the city is requiring them to install 63 feet of sidewalk. That sidewalk would start right here, go across their front lawn, and stop right about here at a spot that's just shy of a lot that's been abandoned for more than a decade. About 25 homeowners in the Belle Pines and Whispering Pines subdivisions are being asked to cover the costs of new sidewalks. The city sent letters like this one with costs for some families nearly $4,000.
When I purchased this home a little over 5 years ago, I was never told anything about this.
The city states construction begins at the end of June, and if you decide you don't want to pay up front, the city says they will simply add the cost to your property tax, a move that has this mother of 4 feeling
Taken advantage of. I really do. I think that would probably sum up how many of us feel.
The Bellefontaine city engineer did not want to go on camera, but explained when the developer, Buckeye Links, originally built the homes, it failed to install the sidewalks in portions of the community or secure a bond agreement. Years have passed, and now the responsibility is on the homeowner. Council even passing a resolution in April to the effect.
Now, 14 years later, our city council feels the need to saddle us with the money and the mess.
In Bellefontaine, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Well, the hot and muggy weather, not enough to keep people indoors today. You saw it just a second ago in Westerville, but also out in Gahanna. That's where we find 10 TV's Cierra Johnson this evening from Hunter's Ridge Pool. Good evening, Cierra.
Good evening, Brian. I think I may have the best seat in the house right now if you haven't been outside. It's cooled off a little, but the high was actually reaching close to 90, so we found some folks out here cooling off and taking a bit of a break. Take a look at the video we shot a little bit earlier. The pool was packed. I talked to the aquatics director. He says that there were actually people lining up outside of the pool well before the pool even opened, and he said it's been like that since they officially opened on Friday. He tells me they're seeing about 100 people an hour at this pool and even double that at their neighboring Gehanna pool.
It's the big bang before the season starts. When it's sunny like this, you know the pools are going to be packed. You know it's going to be a good time. You know people have been waiting, jumping out of their skin all spring, and now we're here jumping in the pool. So it's a good time.
And it doesn't look like it's going to clear out anytime soon. So as these temperatures continue to grow, find yourself a nice cool place like the Gehanna pool. I know I'm having a good time. I'm here with some of my closest friends enjoying the nice weather. We're live in Gehanna. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Cierra, thank you. Definitely the best seat in the house.
And one of Dublin's busiest intersections, it's not uncommon to spot a panhandler.
Well, we have had quite a bit of resident reaction to the number of panhandlers we've seen in the city.
And although our cameras didn't find any this afternoon, Chief Heinz von Eckertsburg with the Dublin Police Department says panhandlers, men and women begging for food, work, or money at busy intersections are becoming a growing problem.
We'd like to try to make sure the public understands that providing money to panhandlers is not always the best way to try to get them to move on to become productive citizens.
So why doesn't the city of Dublin just pass an ordinance making it illegal to panhandle? Well, the city says an ordinance like that would infringe on the First Amendment rights of free speech of those panhandlers. But they're hopeful a sign like this throughout the city would encourage drivers as well as panhandlers to seek resources or give to resources that would benefit those in need.
These signs are currently posted at some of the city's busier intersections. And in addition to posting those signs, officers will also hand out these reference cards that list resources, everything from shelters to food banks like this pantry in the heart of Old Hilliard.
Yes. Refer them to more services. We're going to try to serve them as best as we can.
Matthew Austin with the Hilliard Food Pantry says this move by Dublin Police to offer resources to panhandlers speaks to a growing problem many suburbs across the country are seeing.
Poverty is, a huge growing issue writ large.
In Dublin, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News. It's a place where everyone's role matters, a place where there's no job too big or too small.
I believe that our young adults bring much more to the table than they're being allowed to show us.
The front of Fort Meyer & Sons greenhouse in Delaware, Ohio is that special place.
They're willing to work, they're willing to be part of society, and we need to support them.
17s and young adults are the newest addition to this business. These dedicated employees are participants in Autism Power, a program created to help ease the transition from high school programs to work life.
Kiddos are allowed to be in the school system up until they're 22, and at 22 they're pretty much at the whim of whatever's out there to facilitate them.
Tony Icampo saw a need for a program like Autism Power. His daughter, 24-year-old Carmen, experienced that transition period, and he wanted her to have the best chance at life.
It's important for me for Carmen to live the best life that she can live.
Unable to find a fitting program, Icampo sold his home and business and started Autism Power.
Organizers say the best thing about this program is that it's a 1-to-3 ratio, 1 leader to every 3 participant, which gives everyone a chance to really find their skills and watch them grow.
These young people learn to play to their strengths, have a schedule, and experience the feeling of a job well done. A milestone for both employee and parent.
It's that moment when you realize that he's going to be fine, that he's going to be able to achieve whatever he puts his mind to.
In Delaware, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
I think everyone's really excited.
Waiting on pins and needles. Students at Bishop Flagey Middle School in Chillicothe spent their last day cheering on a classmate appearing on the national stage.
See her on TV, we're all really excited because it's one of our friends on TV.
7th grader Nilla Rajan made her second appearance at the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
And there's no way I could spell words like that because those are really hard words to spell.
Her classmates are convinced this time their peer is both older and wiser, giving her a leg up against some of the nation's top competitors.
I guess that she's maybe a lot more prepared than last time she went. It's just like a different atmosphere.
And Nilla didn't get to this point without hard work. Teachers tell 10 TV this focused competitor even missed the class trip to D.C., staying behind to brush up on some tough words before the B. So Thursday, they gathered around the television with fingers crossed as their friend took her place for round 5. She seemed calm, confident, even joking with the moderator.
Hi, Nilla.
What's up?
And when given the word, these students were confident Nilla would nail it.
I-A-L, popliteal.
But one letter misplaced toward the end of the word would be the end of the road for Nilla. Her classmates disappointed but proud.
We are really happy for her, and we'll still love her, and we won't love her any less than before she was speller.
These students are hoping her journey will continue next year.
We love you, Nilla!
In Chillicothe, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
All right, parents looking for alternatives to medication and surgery for their children's pain are turning to chiropractic care.
Our 10 TV reporter Cierra Johnson sat down with a family who says this holistic care is life-changing. But we also asked, how safe is it?
Sports injuries to car accidents, they can all be treated with chiropractic care. And that approach, a manipulation of the body's spine, is reaching new demographics.
It's a growing niche for sure, because people want to be healthier and they want to do things differently.
Dr. Brian Mabry, chiropractor and owner of Ability Chiropractic in Columbus, says he sees the number of families seeking chiropractic care on the rise.
Yeah, my 2 older girls were in competitive sports, dance and gymnastics, and so I thought instead of medication or surgery or something, we wanted to try what was working for me.
We were there as Melody Nell's 2 younger children received regular adjustments.
We just see an improvement overall of just happiness level, attitude level.
Dr. Mabry says his clients aren't limited to kids and preteens.
The youngest can be just a few days old. I think people underestimate how traumatic the birthing process is.
He sees the treatment involves lighter pressure with different target areas, but the outcomes are the same regardless of age, preventative or corrective care.
We do see kids as they continue to mature for developmental disabilities, for brain imbalances, ADD, ADHD, and there's some really good growing research in that category, so we have had some pretty profound results there.
Results families say help with pain and create stability.
It wasn't until I came here that I had really solid understanding of what they were doing for kids and what they could do for kids.
In Columbus, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
So how safe and effective are adjustments for children and even for babies? A report by the American Academy of Pediatrics explained that research supporting the effectiveness for young children is still lacking. The report also explains serious complications from chiropractic care are possible, but they're rare.